live. Welcome to the Love in Action show, everybody. With me, Alpa Soni. I have the lovely Lucy Davis with me, and it's been a very, very long time. Lucy, how are you?
It's been a minute, babe, hasn't it? It's been quite
Well,
a while. It's been quite a while since we caught up, but I have been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for asking. How have you been?
well, just first of all, I want to acknowledge everyone that's jumped on to this podcast because people have been asking me where I am, why I'm not doing any shows. And I'll be honest, I've been doing me. I've been healing. I've been working on myself. And yeah, it's been an interesting year. 2021 had so many twists and turns for me personally. And I wanted to be out of the public eye for a while, before I used to get really excited doing the podcast, but it kind of reached a stagnant phase for me where it's like, how much more can we say? There's sort of lots of layers to this. But that said, everybody that has messaged me, asked me if I'm okay. I've been meaning to do a solo podcast for a while, but what better way to start the new year and my first podcast of 2022 with my beautiful friend Lucy. She's doing some incredible work, and I'm proud of you, Lucy.
Thank you,
How's it
babe.
all going?
It's a bit like yourself. It's quite interesting. There's these peaks and troughs, and I don't feel that, when you're an observer, it's a very different experience to being somebody that is thrown into this, because what I feel we really do need to talk about first and foremost is we didn't actually pick this. We didn't sign up for this. However, we found ourselves in this position, and it's a privilege. It is a privilege to be here. And I love what you said, Alpa. I really, really do. The fact that you've just had to take time for you. You've had to be present. You've had to do you for a little while. And you know what? It's so inspiring to hear that, because so many people are still living in the paradigm where they keep plug, when actually it's not serving them. And, you've been very, very open and honest about your journey, and very vulnerable about it. And I just think it's really beautiful, because you're essentially, not that people are asking for permission, but you're essentially giving other people permission to do the same. And that's so critical at this period of time. We do need to take time. We do need to reflect. All of us need to be going inwards right now, whoever you are, whatever you are, no matter how spiritual or conscious or whatever word you choose to use for yourself. We're all going inwards right now. And if that means silence, that's what you should be honoring. So I think it's really beautiful for you doing that, babe.
But don't you think social media carries so many different energies? People are on so many different layers, so many different psychological sort of places. And we've called, this show, How Has the Collective Evolved, or Has the Collective Evolved? And that's sort of one of the things I've been in observation mode for the last 6 months, essentially. And, we're saying we want our brothers and sisters to wake up, but how are we behaving and assisting them? Are we approaching this with anger? Because we've all gone through various phases, myself included. And I was very tested when I traveled in September. I didn't get allowed to go into America because you couldn't go, because you didn't have there was a ban going, so I had to go via Mexico. And so many people were asking me how I, got in, and it was a bit of a train wreck for me, but it really tested my patience, and it really helped me to see where I was at personally in this movement. And there was a lot of frustration, anger, and annoyance at people that I was meeting because of, they're wearing the mask. They're so this was, it's a different thing sitting behind our desk and doing these podcasts. But when you're going out there and interacting with people who are not on the same page as you, we are tested to see how we behave. And yes, there is the frustrations. Yes, we go through all these different phases, but surely if we're trying to raise our vibrations ourselves and help us as humanity raise their vibration, we need to cultivate a practice of how we want to be with them. Like, how are we going to react? So the last 6 months, I've been practicing sort of a detachment from everything and seeing it as it is, Lucy. I haven't been so gung-ho about wanting to be the best truther out there, having the most subscribers. For God's sake, they're culling me, they're shadow banning me. You're right. It's about going inwards and really understanding the different layers that we are personally going through this journey. So, yeah, here we are. And I love speaking to you. We speak, everyone. Lucy's a very close friend of mine. We speak regularly. We always give each other moral support, and that's what has been the beauty about this journey.
Absolutely. And the other thing, yes, we give each other moral support, but we also, help each other when we're in a bit of a flat moment, which there has been lots, hasn't there? Since the time I've known you, there's been so many flat moments, and we have this ability to be able to come together and lift each other up. And I think that's what's so important from my perspective over the last 6 months, because I know you've been a little bit AWOL, Alpa. So from my perspective, what I've been doing since March 2021 is I shifted from truth, excuse me, to consciousness. And what I decided that I was going to do is I was going to be the best mirror for people to be able to witness how I live my life and how I am going to vibrate and bring my frequency to the world without judgment of other people. And it's all good and well, like I will sit there and say, I haven't judged anybody in a very, very long time. However, the reality is, when we were having those conversations in 2020 and we were like, why are you wearing a mask? Why are you taking this? It's called judgment.
Yeah.
And actually, the biggest lesson from myself, because my mum and my stepdad are double this.
Yeah.
And so the biggest lesson for me since March 2021 has been about, do I really want to cut part of my family out? Or do I actually just want to swallow my pride, live my best life, and encourage them to live their best life, no matter what choices we make? And do you know what, Alpa? My life has become so incredibly beautiful.
Amazing.
Because I have zero judgment. Whatever anybody does, trust me, I am going to hold them. I am going to love them. I am going to make sure that they are here to ascend with us. And I feel that shift right there. And I know you and I have spoken offline a little bit about the truth movement, and that's the way that we all need to be stepping right now. It's, let's stop with the noise, let's stop with the distractions, and let's really start to pick each other up. And I mean, everybody.
Yeah. Well, this is the collective shift that I see taking place, and I am positive about 2022 because I'm involved in a lot of different projects. A big shout out to Good Lion TV, who's here. We're working together on many projects, and it's exciting, it's fun, and it's on a completely different plane. But we are met with a lot of resistance still, but it's how we respond to that. I have patched up my relationship with a family member, because in this movement, as with all of us, we've had our grievances with friends and family. But it was really, really nice for us to sort of just hug it out and just say, doesn't matter where you sit, but life's too short. And every day I'm hearing of someone passing as a result of the V. And it was upsetting me, Lucy, for a while. And, I feel like I was grieving for humanity. And I was saying to my partner that, I can't cope with this. I don't know what's wrong with me psychologically. This disturbs me every single day. It was putting me in a bad mood. But then you go back and you sit and you ask for God's grace. And I got some advice from a healer. And says, every time you find yourself in a situation where you're stuck, really from your heart and the core of your soul, bringing grace and bringing God to everything and ask to be shown the way. So this is where you start seeing love and love to your brothers and sisters. Yes, the memes are funny. Yes, we can sort of, put the things that we're putting out to educate people to, because that has to go on. Yeah. The facts have to be presented depending on how much you want to do it. Like I do still share posts on my Facebook and my socials, but not as intently as I used to, because it went through that stagnant stage where it's like, how much more are we going to be repeating the same stuff? And I just went quiet inside, putting the occasional post up here and there. But it's really a different place when you're detached, Lucy, but from a place of love and not anger and not judgment.
Yeah, and I think, and I feel that that's where a lot of people are actually missing the point of what we're going through right now. We're shifting from a paradigm where hate, anger, hurt, resentment, all of those lower vibrational emotions are so normal. it's just so normal. However, we're shifting to a paradigm of pure love. And, you know, I know you and I have spoken about this a lot in the past, Alpa, but I channeled all of this back in
You
2016.
did. You did.
You know,
Yeah.
in 2016, and people, when I gave my strap line of my business to support my logo, which is from head to heart, everybody thought I was absolutely bonkers. But I just kept saying, you mark my words. And the thing is, and I've actually stopped sharing all of the stuff. I think I shared something today about pulling the legal case together around this and the damage that this has caused. But other than that, I'm not really sharing the truth stuff these days, not because I don't believe it. I just feel, for me now, I'm living in a different paradigm, and I would like to remain living in that. And I do believe it's a choice. I really, really do believe it's a choice. Now, you might be someone that's still in the throes of it. And I've got lots of followers, a bit like yourself, that are still in the throes of it. And they're like, no, I know I can save people. Whereas for me, I'm actually witnessing, like I said, my 2 family members that have been double of this, you know, I'm all of a sudden seeing them step up and elevate. And I'm not sending them pictures, and I'm not sending them stuff anymore. And all of a sudden they're starting to get it, because the dots aren't connecting anymore, and things aren't starting to make sense. So does it help with me pressurizing, or should I just be allowing these people to do what they need to do for their soul contract this lifetime? And I've just opted for number 2.
Yeah, well, everyone's here on their own soul journey. And remember, we chose this, as difficult sometimes as it is to comprehend. I always have to remind myself that I chose this mission. We chose to be here in these times. But Lucy, you're doing some great work. I believe you are in Oxford on the 22nd. Tell us a little bit more about that. What's going on?
Yes, so there is a protest in Oxford on the 22nd.
And with the lovely Mike Devlin.
Yes, so they're basically looking to create one of the worldwide rally spots as Oxford in the UK. So yeah, Mark is speaking, which is going to be really, really exciting. And I've been asked to speak as well, and I believe that there's other people as well. So it's going to be really, really beautiful. And you know, so important for us right now, Alpa, because one of our best friends has literally just got out of hospital today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Sorry, that was one of the first things I wanted to say, folks. Our good friend AD, bless him, he had a bit of a stint with this virus, and it hit him quite bad. And we're not denying the fact that that is the case. You know, my mum had it too, but she sort of, you know, really she let it play out for the 3 weeks, and she took the HCQ, and you know, she got better, and AD was really strong. I believe they tried to put him on a ventilator, didn't they?
Yeah, and administer medication that was not wanted, you know,
Yeah.
quite dangerous medication. But thankfully he knew to say no, and he stood his ground. So it was extremely, I mean, it's been a really, really interesting week, I think, for all of us that are close to him,
Yeah.
because obviously it came out of the blue. I mean, I think it was you that told me. And I was like, oh my God, you know, our AD. And then, so of course I spoke with him and organised people and healers and stuff to come together very, very quickly.
Yeah.
We did 48 hours of literally blasting his body, bless his heart. And he was like, oh my gosh, I feel incredible with what's going on. And then lots of other people heard about it and got involved and did their own things and whatever. But that's the power of what we've created. That's the power of this shift that we're going through right now. We've got these conscious communities that if one man goes down, the army is there to help elevate. And you know what? That's what this is about. That's what this human experience is about.
That's really beautiful. When you were telling me that on the phone, I sat there and I thought, Alpa, you know, even though this movement has had its trials and tribulations, we sort of feel a sense of grief for humanity with how people have been fooled, the psychological psyops that are happening. But in all of that, in all of this, we have made some amazing connections and friends, everyone. And I'm sure everyone can say this, you know, that we are connecting with people like we never would have connected in our lifetimes across shores, you know, and that's the beauty about this. This is where we are supporting each other. We're, you know, really emphasizing that we are united, not divided. And that those numbers, Lucy, do you remember on the 22nd of August 2020, you done your speech in Marble Arch, for the first Save the Children rally here in the UK. It was the second one. Mark Devlin did the first one in Speaker's Corner a few months before, and there were 50 people. And then the second one was on the 22nd. And I remember you, Laura, I was with all my friends there, and look at how far we have evolved. We need to sort of pat ourselves on the back. I know it's been exhausting, and it really, both mentally, physically, you get hit at every level, even the psychological warfare that's going on, the spiritual layers to this as well. No, we can't deny that. Whether you are spiritual or not, you can feel something is not right. You can feel something intense. You can feel the dense energies, but then I can also feel the light that's really coming through. And how we've integrated as humanity in the collective the best way we can with our brothers and sisters, and those numbers have grown. And that makes me happy, and that warms my heart, Lucy, because from 50 to, I think one of them, there was like circa 2 million in July. Yeah. I haven't actually been to any of the protests since then. I think I got protest out. I was going to all of them, and I was like exhausted afterwards because the energies were really kind of, heavy. But yeah, I'm going to come to Oxford and support you for sure.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. So it should, it should be a really good day. So what I've actually said to the organizer is, I'll let Mark and everybody do kind of the truth of stuff, but what I would like to do is obviously talk about the energy and the consciousness, because it's what I do. It's what I'm here. It's what I'm here to bring to the world, and also speak very much about the love vibration, which is a subject I've been speaking about for over 2 years. But people, obviously, at the time I started speaking about it, thought I was crazy. But now it's much more accepted. And yes, we do need to know the facts, exactly like what you were saying earlier, Alpa. And yes, we do need to congregate. And we need to know where our points are. If and when the stuff hits the fan, we need to know where we've got to go to be. However, we also do need to remember the inward journey. We do need to remember this isn't just outwards, because if we're just going outwards, we're going to continue to remain where we are today. And that's, it's not going to serve us.
One of our mutual friends, Katie, beautiful girl. She's also done her bit. She's written a book called The Way, Good Lion, and myself and you, the Self-Love Club. We're all involved in that project as well, and I'll tell you about that, everyone, some other time. But we were on a phone call the other day, and she was saying that there were local protests and local sort of groups and gatherings. And, there were people in the group that were kind of really being condescending to other people that were not awake.
Oh, no.
And we were saying, look, Katie, people can only meet you as far as they've met themselves. But what we mustn't forget is that we are really stripping the ego here. We are wanting to bring about that unity consciousness without that judgment, like we said right from the start. And it's really interesting to see that how this anger is kind of affecting people in this movement. So, and their levels of consciousness. What we have to understand is that if we continue to judge people, we are going to be only hurting ourselves effectively and getting more and more, angry.
Yeah.
And you teach a lot of this in your Self-Love Club, don't you? Tell us a bit more about that.
I do, babe. And what's very interesting is I'm actually launching a brand new course next week. And I haven't even told you about this. So it's quite interesting that we've gone on this way. But so basically, Self-Love Club is something that fed through to me from God, I'm going to call it, but you can call it whatever you need to call it. But I had my health stripped from me, and I basically had to piece myself back together. And that's a program that I've created called Self-Love Club. Now that program,
can I interject you for that just from your health, I want everyone to know that's listening, Lucy has inspired me so much with her journey. And I do believe when we were connected, we had very similar health conditions. And if you really follow her, and I'm going to put all the links, I'm supposed to do that before the show, Lucy, I'm sorry. But, just listen to her story, and it's amazing, very inspirational. Sorry, go ahead. I had to let everyone know that.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. So just a little bit of backstory for anybody that hasn't heard it. Back in 2014, I was working on the trading floor for investment banks. I had underactive thyroid, you name it, digestive issues, all sorts of stuff going on. I'd had many miscarriages, just my whole physical vessel was under attack. And at that point, I actually had to give up my job because my body had burnt out so badly. So the reason it's inspired Alpa is I basically went on this journey of discovery, and I'm going to call it fixed because we're humans and you'll understand that word. But basically, I've gone on a journey and healed every single element of the issues that I had. So no longer do I take any medication at all. I used to be on a number of medications every day. They told me I was going to have to be on levothyroxine for the rest of my life. I was going to have to be on my omeprazole, which is like the stomach antacid kind of thing. Yeah, so forever. And you know, in 2018, I had recurring tumours.
Wow. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember this. God,
So,
Lucy, I forget this
I've had
sometimes.
such a huge health journey, and I'm sat here in front of you now, having healed everything. So I know, going through all of that, I knew that it was possible to heal ourselves, but there was many different elements that we needed to bring in to be able to do that. And that's my 12-month self-love club program. So it's over 12 months. It sounds like a long time. Trust me, it goes like that, and you don't know yourself by the time you come out of it. But of course, 12 months is a huge commitment for all of the commitment phobes that we've got on the planet. So for the last 2.5 years, people have been saying, bring out something shorter, bring out something shorter. So next Wednesday, the 19th, basically, I am launching a brand new program, which is an 8-week program. And it is basically, my hand is going to go inside of you, grab your ego, shake it up so you know what it looks and it feels like. You're going to get the consciousness on it, and then we figure out how to work with it. And it's probably one of my most intense programs. My coaches went through it and they were like, seriously, Lucy, how on earth are you going to get people to do this? But I'm going to set the expectation from the get-go. If you want to come and do this, please know you're getting on a rocket launcher and you're out of here. You know, we'll look after you, we'll hold on to you, but you're not going to be the same person. You're not going to be the same person when you are, you know, at the other side of the 8 weeks, if you stick at it, obviously. So, and that's next week. And I actually haven't spoken to you about that at all.
No, so I know. We see, Lucy, when we speak, I was saying to my partner that every time I see your post, whether I listen to it, all of it or not, just seeing you, your positivity, your energy and your vibe. And even when you're angry, you exude this chemistry that is, one, it's adorable. I'm sorry, I'm just imagining you. You've had people say here, please, Lucy and Alpa, please do a show on Lucy's health journey if it's not too personal, traumatic. And maybe we can go into that a little bit more later on. But this is the thing, and this is what we are individually doing, and the impact that we are having on people around us. How are we showing up for ourselves, of course, first, and for others around us, and dealing with our own traumas, dealing with it, and being the observers of our own self, one, and also what we're doing within the collective, people that we are close to, or just how we're showing up every single day. And isn't it nice to know that just what your smile or your the information that you're doing on your shows or having on your shows is having a positive impact? And I've had a lot of people say, isn't Lucy just full of positivity? And that's not from a false sense of hopium. I've watched your journey and we've had our chats about all the trials and tribulations, but it's that energy that you have that inspires me, because as my audience know, I've had my similar health challenges, and the fatigue is one of the reasons that I stopped doing the shows, and the losing my train of thought. I was actually a bit apprehensive about coming on today because it was a very long time since I haven't been in the public eye. And I'm actually inherently quite shy, but also I love speaking to people, and, you know, the grace comes in and you just like, you know, don't worry about it. But yeah, folks, I was pretty nervous today. I was say to Lucy, I don't know, I haven't done this for a while. I feel like all sorts, but hey,
you're doing good, my friend. You really are. You're doing amazing, babe. I just think it's and something that you touched on a moment ago, Alpa, about, you know, basically walking your talk. You were in a different words, but you were talking about people walking their talk, and I feel that what we need to be doing right now is observing everybody, even, you know, our amazing spiritual mentors and stuff. We need to be observing everybody, not necessarily consuming. You don't need to consume it, but you do need to observe it, because people are showing you where they're at with themselves right now. And you may hold somebody on a real pedestal that's amazing, but actually they're going through it as well. And if you pay close enough attention, you will see it, because there are a lot of people right now, like I actually shared on my Instagram live earlier today, I probably journal 8 pages in the morning and 8 pages of an A4 pad, by the way, in the morning, and another 8 of an evening. And people go, but why do you do that? And I'm like, why do you think you get the version of me that you get? Because I don't carry my baggage day to day. I've recognized what that did. It gave me tumors. It gave me underactive thyroid. It gave me my hair falling out. It gave me, all of these different things that I had to go through. And I'm not going to allow that to take place again. So I now go above and beyond, and I make sure that I show up for me, because do you know what, Alpa, to your point, I've had probably 1,000 people messaging me in the last couple of days saying, I've only just found you. Thank God, your energy is what I need.
Absolutely.
But it's because I work on me all day, every day. And like you have been with your health, Alpa, doesn't matter what you're working on, but you need to be working on something. It's arrogant to think that we don't need to work on ourselves. And right now it's about collapsing that paradigm and saying we're a work in progress. All of us are a work in progress.
Yeah. And I want to add to the point about putting people on pedestals. I am one for, I find in the past, we get so enthusiastic about putting people on pedestals, and it's beautiful, it's nice, but not at the demise of self. We always have to see each other on the same level playing field, at the same. No one is at these two extended polarities. We are all, the same. And it's great to admire, to be inspired, but not at the demise of self, where you feel, oh, I wish I was like that. And you come from a lack-based mentality, because that then starts, creating and cultivating a negative sort of vibration within yourself. And I have people writing into me and sort of putting me on a pedestal sometimes, and it used to make me feel uncomfortable. But there's a difference of being put on a pedestal and being appreciated. Yeah. And appreciation is beautiful. Yeah. Appreciation to our brothers and sisters is how we give and how we take. There has to be, that sort of that neutralization, not that bipolar kind of energetic exchange. It's the give and take in equal sort of amounts. So yeah, definitely. I like what you said there. And the other thing is how I've been showing up for myself is my memory was going crazy. Yeah. And I had to sort of really wean my way through this journey, because suddenly I think it was around July, I think it was more of a spiritual thing that was happening to me, but memory was just going crazy. And I couldn't remember words. And I have done a very good show with a lady called Dr. Christina from Roots. Beautiful, beautiful woman, inspiring story. And I still have to put that up. But it was interesting to hear that, someone from her academic kind of background and all her achievements, that she faced a very similar thing as myself, just going blank. And I started saying, I think, is there something going on in the collective, spiritually, where this is all the light workers were sort of attacked as such, was something happening there at the same time? And you and I've spoken about this a lot in the past, but I've done what I can physically, mentally, and using the right things trial and tribulations about what herbs work for me, what medication, not medication, but what vitamins work. And yeah, it's a work in progress, Lucy. It's a work in progress every single day.
And that's exactly it. And that's the thing. This is why people like us need to be vulnerable about our journey and be open about it, as much as it makes us feel uncomfortable and we don't really want to be sharing the ins and outs of stuff,
Oh, good God. Yeah, it's hard.
I've shared some horrific things in the last few months, because I actually had the virus in July of last year. Of course,
yes, I know.
And then my hair fell out. So I've been really vulnerably sharing this, but I'm not doing it.
I remember that.
Yeah, honestly. But again, that was linked to a psychic attack as well. So it's a very interesting dynamic that's been going on. So we do need to be sharing this stuff so that people can see it, because somebody might be over here having the same things and thinking it's one thing, when actually it could be a combination of things. So we do need to be vulnerable. None of us need to be tough anymore. We all need to come together. We all need to share information. We're all a work in progress. Like, even like I said, you know, your gurus, they're a work in progress. I don't like that word, but you know what I mean. It's an old paradigm word. You know, we're like you said a short time ago, we are all exactly the same. Now, if I'm judging you, I'm judging myself. You know, if I'm anything like that, it's so important that we just remember that we have to do whatever it takes for us to collapse these programs that are being run, because that's all we're doing at the moment.
I'm glad you said that. It's the collapsing of toxic patterns, programs that no longer serve us. And it's almost like a wiping out of your dashboard. Yeah.
Yeah, your
memory.
It's just, we're going to remove it and reboot it, kind of thing. And that's what we need to do. And then it's the systems. So we need to figure ourselves out, the programs that we're running and things like that. But then we also need to recognize there's the systems outside of us, the government and things like that, that also need collapsing. So this is why it is such a head screw for us right now, because we want it all to happen like yesterday, but we also need to make sure that we, the physical vessel, the spiritual soul, is ready to deal with what is happening when we get the other side of it. And this is where this impatience, you know, is kind of making us a little bit unbalanced.
Yeah, no, definitely. Lucy, how are you finding people that are, as it were, on the other side, where, you know, you've been met in the past with resistance and they've taken they were gung-ho on believing the narrative. Where have you seen the changes in your own personal life? What are your observations of what's going on mainstream? And where do you see 2020 heading energetically and within the media narrative? So 3 questions all in one there.
Okay. So first and foremost, and I think that you and I have a slight difference of opinion based on your traveling experience with this, because my experience in the last 6 months is the people that, even though they were fast asleep, are starting to get it. They're starting to recognize that something is not quite right. Okay, they might not be willing to do anything about it, but they're starting to recognize that things. So for me personally, I feel that there's been a huge shift. I really do feel as if we have got past the tipping point now. We have got to a point where there is absolutely no return. So from that element of it, you know, I still see people with masks on. I still, you know, I still speak to people, particularly at the moment because I'm doing a lot of traveling, that are saying, oh, would you mind popping one on for me? But as soon as I say no, they're okay with it.
Yeah. It's not so bad here in the UK compared to the US, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's mask Nazis everywhere there. You know, you can't go into places, and it's just a completely different ballgame in the US.
And I think this is a really important thing. Here in the UK, I think it was September of last year that I came out and said, the UK's going first, like, we're going to go first now. And everybody was like, no, America has to go first. And I'm just going to throw it out there. I really do believe that the UK is going to go first now, because we have shifted such a huge amount. And just the energy here feels very, very different now. Like, we really have got past the tipping point of where we needed to get to. Now, do I think that we're going to avoid all of the, you know, all of the ins and outs and everything like that?
As I say.
You know, and the noise, you know, the noise that we were expecting. No, I don't think we're going to avoid it. However, I do feel that we are far further ahead than we were when we had this conversation in the summer.
Yeah. I mean, I think the media is spinning off narratives which seem very staged to me. Yeah. And very necessary to wake up the masses in a way which is literally mocking them. But to us, it's very obvious what's going on, and it feels very staged. You know, Novak's story just the other day, the last week. I mean, that seemed very staged. I mean, how quickly did everything happen and transpire? But it, you know, we said this around July, August of 2020, that this is going to follow a process and it's going to follow different narratives. And to wake people up, you can't just tell them. It has to happen progressively and it has to happen organically, as if it were real. To me, it seems very staged, and we can see that. So we're sort of sitting back and letting everything unfold to help humanity understand what's actually been going on, so that they feel that they are waking up themselves, if that makes sense.
I totally agree.
The battle of the egos here, you see. And when we first started, it was like we've had this mindset where it's like we're sharing all the news, and we think that, oh my God, we're going to tell everyone about the children and everyone's going to have that same level of empathy. Did that happen? No. You know, it was spit on our face, and then it started this kind of psychological war. I'm right, you're wrong, you're this, you're that. Oh my God, you know, and it was all those things that were going on. But it feels like we're now all kind of going, you know what, you're where you're meant to be, I'm where I'm meant to be, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do me. And that is, I think, essentially the spiritual exercise that was at play here all along. We all have to do ourselves.
It's interesting that you say that, because I was talking about this on an Instagram live a few days ago. The way that they showed me a couple of years ago that this was going to happen is it was going to be like waves. So the first wave was going to be about the children. So the people that really, really took passion to the children. And let's be honest, a massive part of, portion of women woke up in that, you know, because, oh my God, it's the babies. And our maternal instincts kicked in, and our, this super mama bear inside of all of us came online. So that was wave number one. And then wave number two was kind of like, this doesn't quite make sense that they're forcing this now on something that's only been around a short period of time. Then it was, bringing in this for the children. So we've had these waves. I mean, I've missed a few waves in there, but there's just been these waves coming up to shore and just allowing, like, knocking people off their feet a little bit to wake up. And we haven't finished that yet. That exercise is going to keep going and keep going. And it's going to be the most random things that are going to wake your parents up. Like, literally the most random things. You're going to be like, I've been telling you this for 2 years. And again, your ego will surface at that point. Why didn't you listen to me? I'm your daughter. When it's irrelevant what you're saying. It's completely irrelevant.
People need to meet my mum, Lucy. Like, she's hilarious. She doesn't outwardly tell me that she's proud of me or that she believes in everything that I'm saying. She was like, I just don't understand all of this. It's too much pressure, but I'm not taking the vaccine. I'm like, Mum, can you tell me? Because I haven't forced you. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that crap. The V. And I said, I haven't forced you. I haven't, you've just been observing. And, she just said to me, which was a really powerful thing, but a very, I was really proud of her. She goes, because it's common sense. It's not been around for long enough. I'm not putting things I don't know in my body. And I was so impressed with her. But she's being bullied by family members. And this is what's happening within our families, that you haven't taken it, you haven't done this, but she's brilliant. I'm really proud of my mum. Sorry.
No, that's amazing, because my dad's the same. So I had to go, a parcel went to my dad's house today rather than coming to mine. So I had to go and see him, and he's like, when are these people going to get it, Lucy? Like, when are they going to get it? I love it when she speaks like her mum too. Honestly, it makes me feel like I'm at
my mum upstairs knocking because she's watching. I will see you when you get off there.
I think you should do the whole video on, like, speaking like your mum, because it's brilliant.
Well, listen, this is on Facebook, and a lot of my Asian community are going to be watching this on Facebook. My mum ain't taking it, so stop bullying her and making her take it, because she's not going to do it. She's using her common sense. And she's made an informed choice, and it wasn't because of me.
No, and good on her, and this is the thing, like, my mum's taken it, but my dad hasn't. So I've got this, real split within my family, but my dad is so passionate about it, because he's like, a bit like what your mum says, it doesn't make sense. And I don't understand why all of a sudden they're asking us to take something that has been apparently pulled out of a hat, and it's sensible. It's really sensible. But my mum, on the other hand, has gone, I think this could kill me. Like, this could be the end of me if I catch it. So I'm going to do whatever I have. So it's a real polarized situation, but it's
The fear porn, isn't it?
Growth.
Yeah.
Such growth, and it's such an opportunity to be able to, you know, recognize and nurture people where they are scared.
That's a really good point. And I have to admit, sometimes I've gone through that frustration wave, personal inner wave, the frustration where I felt the anger. And I admit that. And I have, had harsh conversations with people to, it wasn't to prove a point, but it's like, can't you see I'm trying to say this to save your life? We get very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bit, yeah, we're doing the right thing, and the self-righteous kind of wave where we're doing the right thing, we're doing this for your benefit. But again, people will only meet you as far as they've met themselves. And
also, who decides what's right? I keep saying this to people at the moment. Who decides what's right? Just because we feel we're right, are we really right?
this is it. This is it.
That's a good question. We have to be asking ourselves, like, I wouldn't take it no matter what, and I'm sure you feel exactly the same, but that doesn't mean that I'm right. It just means I've got my belief system where that is concerned.
Yeah. And now so many people are, if you recall, there was a stage where there was like, oh my God, it's irreversible. People are not going to be able to undo what's in it. We don't really know that, because now there's claims where we're going to be able to take out the graphene oxide, for example.
I agree.
In our blood. There's so many things now, and people are plugging products to say, look, this is going to help remove it. So everything, we're living in the moment, for the day, in the present, and not get so governed by the fear porn in all the different narratives. See, the truth, the community has gone through different cycles, Lucy, as well. Yeah. And I've been observing, the different egocentric cycles that have been going. My truth's better than your truth. That was all happening last year. That made me really sort of want to push away from this, because, all the stuff was going on that it just became like, whoa, what have I stepped into? I didn't get a manual for this, but this is a little bit overwhelming for me. But we have observed and we're learning. And in all of those moments, we're growing. We're growing every single day inside. And it's how we decide. We get to choose how we want to show up. We're not obligated or owe anybody anything. We don't have to feel that we need to, I felt really pressured at one point. It's like, crap, I'm not doing anything on social media, or I'm not doing my podcast. And I have so many people asking me, Alpa, are you okay? And that is lovely. And I'm really grateful for that. And I felt guilty. But then I had to sort of take a deep breath and say, no, it's okay. You're doing you. You're doing what's right for you. When you're ready, you'll show up again. You don't have to feel obligated to anyone. And this is the thing. We're working through our own inner wounding at every level. And it's the ability to recognize it, Lucy. Yeah, definitely. We're evolving all the time.
Yeah, and it's a constant evolution. And what we need to just, like, one step further from that is, why do we need to evolve at the same time?
Yeah.
Why would we evolve at the same time? Like, who says that we should? Like, imagine how hectic it would have been if every single person on the planet woke up when we were out protesting about the children. There would have been riots.
Good point.
Things would have been burned. Things would have been pulled down. This is a divine plan that is playing out right now. And although a lot of people might only just be waking up to it, trust me, this plan was done way before any of us on this planet right now were born. Because why do you think we're here doing this? They sent the toughest, strongest, bravest of the starseeds and light workers down here to do this mission. They sent people like Alpa down to do, the communications.
Well, let's just be honest with me. I mean, there was a bit, it was special. Yeah. Okay. It just pushed me down. I didn't really want to come.
I don't know. I think I saw you like this. I want to go. Let me.
I'm not. And I was like, me? Really? How did I get to do this?
But it's true. And we've all been sent here with our own roles. I'm very much the person that, like, gathers the troops and gets the communities going, and then we get fired up and we go and do stuff. I'm not one of these.
You're a go-getter, Lucy.
I'm not one of these people that just sit behind the computer and tell people what to do, which would be a really nice role to do this lifetime, but it's not my chosen one this lifetime. But that we do need those people that are sat behind the computer telling people what to do, because we need lots of different people doing things.
Yeah.
So like whatever you're doing right now, just trust you are divinely placed. And if you feel drawn to go and do something else, go do. Don't sit on it or think about it or procrastinate about it or ponder on it for 3 years, because God knows where we're going to be in 3 years.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. It's about taking action, you know,
Yeah.
love in action. I mean, although I've been in no action, but love in action.
We don't want to know.
Taking action every day. And yeah, my partner always said, don't wait till tomorrow. Like, you know, forget this tomorrow, do this tomorrow. And I used to be petrified about coming back. Like I said, you know, doing the shows and doing all the sort of stuff that goes with this. Yeah. But then it's just about taking that action and just doing it if I want to do it. And again, you know, having no pressure if I don't. But you're right. It's going out there and doing stuff. And also now 2022, I was listening to Mark Devlin before the show, and I love Mark. I loved his journey. I love the way he articulates himself, and he's so raw and vulnerable and honest. I think everyone should listen to his podcast because, you know, he really questions things in a very intelligent way, and he wears his heart on his sleeves, you know. But he's evolved so much in this journey, and I forgot what I was going to say there now. See, look, it's happening. What was I saying?
He's amazing all the same. He really, really is.
Yeah, you guys are going to be together on the 22nd. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be powerful. It's going to be a powerful day. And, you know, if anybody is in and around Oxford, because I was actually speaking to a really beautiful gentleman earlier on Instagram, and he was like, you know, he's 32 years of age. And he said, Lucy, I've lost all of my friends because I've got different mindset. You know, my head's in a different place. And he's like, maybe 30-minute drive from Oxford. And I'm like, just get there. Like, just get there, come and say hello to me. I'll introduce you to people that are local to you, and you've got your new friends. Like, you know, and this is almost my plea for people. If you are feeling alone, do something about it. What I mean by that is turn up to your stand in the park or turn up to the protest and literally come over to me, tap me on the shoulder and say, hi, Lucy, or hi, Alpa, or hi, whoever, because we will help you get connected. That's the whole point of what we're doing. But I can't, and I'm sure I can speak on behalf of Alpa, we can't be looking for everybody going, are you okay? You okay? You okay? It doesn't work like that. If you want help, put your hand up and ask for it, because something an old mentor of mine told me, and it wasn't a spiritual mentor, it was actually a mentor in business a long time ago. And he said to me, Lucy, stop going to pick the people out of the sea that are falling out the boat, but they're happy to just drown. He said, you go for the ones with their arms up in the air. Because if you think about it, normally if somebody's splashing around, you're like, oh, they're all right, they're going to make it. Or I'll go for the one that's sinking. And he just said, you need to think like this. So in the context of what we're talking about, put your hand up, ask for help, put yourself in front of people, turn up to these things. And even if you're, you know, somebody who's a real introvert and you're like, I don't want to go on my own, take the action, because you may get your whole community off the back of taking that one piece of action.
Absolutely. And to be fair, I think I am that one splashing in the water, Lucy. So please, you know, just hold my hand. Yeah.
I've got you, babe. I've always got you. I've always got you. I can't wait for us to actually catch up physically in person again.
I know. But I mean, you've been doing so much, and just wanted to go back to your course, the new one. So I didn't know about that, and I wanted to just find out a little bit more about that. So your original one was 12 months, right?
Yes.
And this one,
real short courses as well. Like I've got a 5-day course that people can buy. It's like £7.77. Do you get what I mean? It's so cheap, but it's a real little breakthrough. And it's a 5-day course. But this one is called Self-Love Mastery. So it's all about self-love, because that's what I'm here to do. But it's about
self-love. I just love that. Self-love club with Lucy.
You know what, Alpa, when I channeled that in 2016, I was like, bleh, bleh, that's disgusting, because it just didn't resonate with me. It was, you know, and I kept saying, like, I'm not using that. Nobody's going to get Self-Love Club. And I just kept getting, you're doing it, you're using it. That is the words that you need. And do you know what? I'm so grateful that I wasn't stubborn, because now it makes total sense.
No, and it's inspirational, definitely, as well as Little Beams. How's that going?
Oh, I love it.
Can you just sort of, because I've got loads of people, Lucy, here. I just want to acknowledge the audience. Thank you. So many positive comments. We really appreciate you. Hi, Michael. It's Good Lion, Aisha, Monica, Sarita, Sophie, Ronnie. Hello, Ronnie. Spiritual Gains, Prophet. I love that name. PHJFE Murray, Spiritual Gains. Oh my God, there's just some beautiful comments. We really appreciate this. It's just wanting to acknowledge everyone here. The numbers were just firing up, Lucy. But yeah, please just share with us for our final sort of 10 minutes what the whole, where Little Beams is, what Little Beams is, how it started. It's just extraordinary.
Okay, I'll happily share on this, because this is like my passion project. It's like the only reason I do Self-Love Club. Well, it's not the only reason, but a massive reason for why I do Self-Love Club and the other programs that I do is to fund what we're doing with Little Beams. So for those of you that don't know me, I have two little half sisters that are 9. They're twins and they are amazing. And since I met them, I didn't meet them until they were about 2, family stuff and all that. But when I did meet them, ever since that day, I've called them the Little Beans. So BEANS. So I'm sat there and I keep going, I need to help the children. I need to help the children. All of a sudden, I'm speaking at all of these protests about the children, and I'm, really ramping up the consciousness on what's going on behind the scenes with the children. And I kept thinking to myself, I need to create something for these children. And, obviously where I call the Little Beans, even now, everyone's like,
right?
oh, Little Beans.
Beans.
Yeah, no, Bean with an S, my little sisters. With an NS, my little sisters. And then I said to my little sisters, I'm going to do this project, and one day I'd like you to run it for me. What should we call it? And they said, Little Beams, but with an M rather than an N. So I was like, that's really cute. It's so cute because they know that that's what I've called them since the get-go. So basically what Little Beams is it's a complete passion project. And what we're going to be doing for that passion project is making sure that any child that has ever gone through any traumatic experience, that may be falling off a horse, or that could be something like trafficking or abuse or something like that. Any child that has ever gone through anything is going to have a safe space. And it doesn't mean like a come and live with us space. It basically means there is going to be a center where they get educated how to, use their breath to regulate themselves, and how to learn how to self-heal, and just basically have a container where they are really, really, really safe. But we're also going to be educating them, to level up, for want of better words, so that they know how to grow their own food, so that they know how to utilize all of the gifts that God has given us, the breath, and how we use pressure points in our bodies, and how we feed ourselves properly, and the right kind of water. Because I luckily, unlucky, whichever way you want to look at it, burnt out my physical vessel. So I had to figure out how to do all of this stuff at 35 years of age. Whereas what I would like to do, and what I envisage for the future, is literally helping as many children across the world. I see the programs that I do for adults at the moment literally be us buying technology for these kids so that they can do it in the poorest countries, India, Africa, other places like that, so that there isn't this division anymore. So Little Beams is essentially, it's going to be a pot of money whereby we can help heal, we can help bring people up educationally, just give people a future.
Yeah.
Give people
and also a lot of parents have decided to start homeschooling their children. So that could be sort of another avenue to that project as well.
Absolutely.
Where are you at with it now? Like, how is it sort of expanded here in the UK? Is it global? Where are we at? And there's lots of questions people are asking. So let you answer this one first.
Yes. So first and foremost, we've got a group on Telegram where there's lots of people from all around the world that are in there, and everyone's like, just tell us what we can do. Tell us what we can do. So at the moment, a lot of you will know that I'm working very closely with Paul Boys.
Yeah.
And what we are looking
at the show soon as well.
Yeah, we've basically creating this huge amount of abundance so that we can step all of this stuff forwards. Now, obviously, because there's been talk of the Nasara Jasara, there's been talk of, the other humanitarian projects and stuff like that. But what we've decided to do is just take a step forwards. Like, we're just stepping forwards no matter what. If and when that comes, brilliant. But we're just stepping forwards.
Glad you said that. Yeah. You're still carrying on and doing it.
Absolutely. Because otherwise we're going to be sat here in another year's time, Alpa. And And I just don't think that that's necessary. So this Friday, 2 days from now, I've got my first half-day healing session online, and all of the funds from that go straight into the healing centre and the Little Beans pot, you know. And then what we're going to do, once we've got a decent amount of money and we can start doing things, of course, once you start doing things, people contribute more money because they see what's taking place. So that's what's really important right now. You know?
So is there an active fundraise for this right now, or people?
No, what we're doing is we're creating a website so that people can literally go and donate. At the moment, it's very much you're paying for a service, but the money is going into a pot. So whether it be Reiki with Paul and that kind of stuff, or, you know, come and do the healing days with me, or a lot of anything that I do within my work, I put a percentage into that pot to make sure that we can start doing, you know, because my vision is, and I channeled this in 2018, that there's going to be 5 healing centres across the world. That doesn't mean there's only going to be 5, but 5 that I'm going to be personally involved in. And they're going to be, you know, massive centres that are going to be people from any walk of life can come, and they can go on their healing journey. It's not like a live-in thing. They turn up, they get blasted with energy, they get blasted with different modalities, and then they go home. But we basically reprogram them in a very, very quick way, using the skills and stuff that I use today to be able to get people back in alignment very quickly and on their journey. So
how extraordinary is that, folks? Isn't that amazing? So Lucy, I am going to put your details. My apologies, I meant to put them. She did send them to me. I'm scatterbrain. But socials, I'd like you to actually say, where can people find you? How can people get involved? Where are you? And just
okay.
questions.
So my website is, Alpa's going to post it afterwards, but my website is www.lucydavis.com. So all of my programs are on there to be able to access. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I do quite a lot of stuff with Paul. So if you're connected with Paul, by default, you will be able to find me very easily. I've got my Telegram group.
Facebook is Self-Love Club. And there's also Lucy Davis.
Yeah. So I'm a bit challenging to find actually on Facebook, which is why I didn't give it to you, because I actually have, because of all the work I do with the children, my account got disabled back in November 2020. So my friend had to set up an account for me, and it's just one big long number. So nobody ever remembers it. So if you go to Facebook and you search for the group Self-Love Club with Lucy Davis, you'll find me in there. That's the best way to find me. Nobody can find me if you search for me, because they just don't like me. I'm okay with it.
I think YouTube hates me, and so is Telegram. They're just culling numbers every day. They're doing it like in threes. Every single day it's like 3, then 5, then 4. It's just really strange. But look, we are in those times, and it is what it is, you know. Oh God, what have I done here?
You look fine from my side.
Press the button. It's like, oh crap. No, it is what it is. But Lucy, this has been just a really beautiful conversation. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. I always love speaking to you, and thank you for being my first podcast of 2022. Everyone who's been here have just been so positive. Lucy, you literally have such a vibrant energy. I was so excited to speak to you today, and thank you, a real thank you. And everyone that wants to connect with Lucy, please make sure they do. But on a final parting note, Lucy.
Keep holding on, guys. Keep on keeping on is all I'm going to say. You know, we are at war. We are in the final battle. We are doing this. And trust me, there are so many people out there that you don't even know that are cheering you on. Honestly, there really are. And we're going to do it, guys. We really are going to do this. This is the last time we ever committed to doing this. So let's just do it properly so we never have to come back.
I mean, otherwise, I need the customer service number to God, please. If anyone knows,
I've asked for a refund twice.
I need to see the contracts here, because I don't actually recall signing up for this, but somehow apparently I have. So anyway, what a wonderful chat. And you know, my audience is amazing. Thank you so much. And I mean that, guys. Everyone, each and every single one of you that has watched today, it means a lot to me personally. My friends are here, always supporting me. Aisha, Nick, Monica, Sarita, and just beautiful comments for you, Lucy. We are proud of you. You're an inspiration. Until the next time, Everyone have a pleasant evening further. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks, Alpa.
Thank you.